The Partridge Family, 1970 to 1974, was more than just a sitcom. It was a cultural phenomenon that made its cast household names and filled the airwaves with unforgettable music. For 4 seasons, audiences followed the adventures of the musical Partridge Family, led by Shirley Jones and David Cassidy. But behind the cheerful facade, many of the cast members faced personal struggles, career challenges, and heartbreaking tragedies. Now, 55 years later, we look back at their journeys, the highs, the lows, and the legacies they left behind. Where are they in 2025? Who overcame the odds, and who faced tragic endings? Let's find out. David Cassidy, born on April 12, 1950, took on the role of Keith Partridge in 1970 at the age of 20. As the golden boy of the Partridge Family, Keith was the heartthrob of millions, embodying the dream of a carefree rock star adored by fans. His career soared in the early 1970s, with hit songs like I Think I Love You topping the charts, but the success was a gilded cage. Trapped in the bubblegum pop image, he fought to be taken seriously as an artist, with later albums failing to achieve the same recognition. His career nosedived after the Partridge Family ended, leading to years of erratic choices and financial instability. He married 3 times, first to actress Kay Lenz, then Meryl Tanz, and finally Sue Schifrin, with whom he had his only son, Beau Cassidy. All 3 marriages ended in divorce, with Cassidy citing his inability to maintain relationships under the strain of addiction and self-destruction. His life spiraled into a nightmare of alcoholism, bankruptcy, and health crises. He was arrested multiple times for DUI, and his once promising career was reduced. In his final years, he publicly admitted to struggling with dementia, though the real culprit was years of heavy drinking. On November 21, 2017, he died at 67 from liver and kidney failure. Dave Madden, born on December 17, 1931, became the Partridge Family's beloved yet long-suffering manager, Reuben Kincaid, in 1970 at the age of 39. Reuben was the reluctant caretaker of the Partridges, constantly exasperated by their antics yet secretly devoted to their success. His comedic timing and dry humor made him a fan favorite, but behind the scenes, Madden's life was marked by loneliness and personal battles. Unlike his on-screen persona, who found a family in the Partridges, Madden struggled to maintain connections in his own life. He was married twice, first to Nina Arnold, with whom he had 2 children, and later to Sandra Madden, but both marriages ended in divorce. Though he enjoyed steady work in voice acting and television, he never replicated the same success as he had in the 70s. His later years were marked by deteriorating health, including a long battle with myelodysplastic syndrome, a devastating blood disorder that slowly drained his strength. He withdrew from public life, suffering in silence as his body betrayed him. On January 16, 2014, at the age of 82, he succumbed to complications from the disease, his final years spent in quiet decline. For a man who brought laughter to millions, his own final act was marked by the profound sorrow of solitude and fading relevance. Suzanne Crowe, born on March 6, 1963, stepped into the role of Tracy Partridge in 1970 at the tender age of 7. Tracy, the shy, tambourine-playing youngest member of the family, was often overshadowed by her more charismatic siblings, a dynamic that mirrored Suzanne's real-life struggles. Unlike her co-stars, she never sought the limelight and disappeared from Hollywood after a few minor roles. While her castmates battled their demons publicly, Suzanne's own tragic story unfolded in painful obscurity. She married William Condrey, had 2 daughters, Alexandra and Samantha, and attempted to live a quiet, stable life managing a bookstore. However, financial struggles loomed over her family, and despite staying out of Hollywood, she couldn't escape its curse. A return to television never materialized, leaving her longing for an industry that had forgotten her. While she portrayed a sweet, innocent girl on screen, real life dealt her a cruel hand. She suffered from health issues for years, but with little money or fame left, she received inadequate medical care. Then, without warning, her life was cut short. On April 27, 2015, she died suddenly at the age of 52 from arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia, a rare heart condition that often goes undiagnosed. Gordon Jump, who was born on April 1, 1932, played Albertson in 1970 at the age of 38. Albertson was a mild-mannered, kind character who often served as a supportive figure in the Partridge Family's world. Although the role was small, Jump's portrayal resonated with viewers, marking the beginning of a career that would later become synonymous with quirky, endearing characters. Jump's career, however, was anything but steady. After the Partridge Family, he struggled to find substantial roles and was often typecast in secondary, forgettable parts. His most notable role came years later when he was cast as Arthur Carlson in WKRP in Cincinnati, but even that role didn't offer the success he had hoped for. His personal life mirrored the instability of his career. Jump's first marriage ended in a painful divorce, and although his second marriage lasted longer, it was fraught with emotional distance and long periods of separation. Financially, he faced multiple hardships, including bankruptcy and debt, despite his acting career. By his final years, Jump's health had deteriorated, and he was suffering from diabetes and heart problems, which ultimately led to his diagnosis of pulmonary fibrosis. Gordon Jump passed away on September 22, 2003, at the age of 71, his death from pulmonary fibrosis a quiet end to a life marked by professional struggles and personal heartache. Gary Dubin, who portrayed Punky Laser in 1971 at the age of 12, was born on May 5, 1959. Punky, a troublemaker and Danny Partridge's mischievous sidekick, was known for his impish nature and sense of humor. Dubin's youthful charm brought life to the role, but his career, unlike his character's energy, quickly hit a wall. After the Partridge Family, Dubin appeared in a few more roles, including in Jaws 2 and the Aristocats, but he quickly faded from the spotlight. As he entered adulthood, he struggled to break free from his childhood image and was often unable to secure consistent work. Financial instability became a constant companion, and by the late 1980s, Dubin was forced to take up odd jobs to survive, ranging from bartending to odd jobs in security. His personal life mirrored his professional one, marked by failed relationships and unfulfilled potential. He never married, though he was involved in a series of brief, tumultuous relationships. His most tragic battle, however, came in the form of a late-stage diagnosis of bone cancer. With little to no support, he struggled through his illness, battling severe pain and isolation. Gary Dubin passed away on October 8, 2016, at the age of 57, a life cut short by cancer, leaving behind the echoes of a career that once promised much but delivered little. Rosemary DeCamp, who played Grandma Amanda Renfrew in 1970 at the age of 60, was born on November 14, 1910. As the warm-hearted matriarch, Amanda was the embodiment of wisdom and kindness, always offering guidance to the Partridge Family. Off-screen, DeCamp had a lengthy career, appearing in classic films and numerous television series. However, despite her professional longevity, her personal life was fraught with sorrow. She was married for decades, but the marriage was not as idyllic as it seemed. Her husband, a once successful radio executive, struggled with depression and alcoholism, causing immense strain. Their home life, while stable on the surface, was filled with silent resentment and unresolved conflicts. DeCamp also endured multiple tragedies, including the death of one of her children, an event that left her emotionally broken. In her later years, she faced declining health and increasing loneliness, as many of her peers and loved ones passed away. Her final years were spent battling severe arthritis and mobility issues, rendering her nearly immobile. She died on February 20, 2001, at the age of 90 from pneumonia, a slow and painful end that left her isolated in a hospital bed, her legacy as a beloved actress overshadowed by the sadness of her final days. Joseph V. Perry, born on February 13, 1931, portrayed Mr. Jenkins in the Partridge Family in 1970 at the age of 39. Mr. Jenkins was the well-meaning neighbor, often offering help to the Partridge Family, but behind the scenes, Perry's life was fraught with personal suffering. After a brief and unsuccessful marriage in his early years, Perry found himself entangled in a toxic relationship that left him emotionally drained. His second marriage ended in a messy divorce, with accusations of infidelity and financial ruin. The turmoil in his personal life was mirrored by his health struggles, as he was diagnosed with diabetes, a condition that worsened over time. Perry's career, although stable, never reached the heights he had hoped for. He was often relegated to supporting roles, and his true talents were never fully realized. In his later years, Perry struggled with feelings of failure, as he found himself unable to support his family financially. His relationships with his children became strained, with his struggles against his illness overshadowing his attempts to connect with them. The pressures of his declining health and financial instability took their toll, and Perry passed away on February 23, 2000 at the age of 69, leaving behind a legacy that was overshadowed by the tragedy of his personal life. Mitzi Hoag, born on September 25, 1932, portrayed Miss Farrow in the Partridge Family in 1970 at the age of 38. Miss Farrow was a schoolteacher who brought warmth and guidance to the Partridge Family, often serving as a maternal figure to the children. However, the tragedy of Mitzi's personal life contrasts sharply with her on-screen persona. Despite her career being relatively successful, her journey off-screen was filled with heartache. Mitzi was married 3 times, each union ending in turmoil. Her first marriage was to a fellow actor, but it ended in a bitter divorce after a few years. Her second marriage to a well-known businessman also collapsed, leaving her with deep emotional scars. She had one child, a daughter named Samantha, who became estranged from Mitzi after a bitter custody battle. Life took an even darker turn when Mitzi was diagnosed with a debilitating disease, one that left her unable to work and isolated her from her family. Her later years were marked by an overwhelming sense of loneliness, and her relationship with her daughter remained strained until Mitzi's passing in 2019 at the age of 86. Despite being surrounded by friends and family in her final years, Mitzi's life had been marred by the echoes of past failures, regret, and the constant fight against the shadows of her illness. Shirley Jones, born on March 31, 1934, took on the role of Shirley Partridge in the Partridge Family in 1970 at the age of 36. As the matriarch of the Partridge Family, she was portrayed as the nurturing, talented mother who managed both the demands of raising her children and the challenges of being the lead singer of their band. In real life, however, Shirley's own family dynamics were anything but harmonious. She married actor Jack Cassidy in 1956, a union that initially seemed perfect, but it soon unraveled under the weight of Jack's personal demons, including a severe drinking problem. Their marriage became increasingly strained, and they eventually divorced in 1974 after years of infidelity and emotional abuse. Shirley's relationship with her children also became complicated, especially after her son, Sean Cassidy, rose to fame in the 1970s, bringing added pressure to their already fractured family. Shirley's career, while successful, was marred by personal turmoil. The death of her ex-husband Jack Cassidy in 1976, a tragic and unexpected event, shook her to her core, leaving her with a sense of guilt and regret that would haunt her for years. As of 2025, Shirley, at the age of 91, has found some peace, but her past remains a shadow over her otherwise remarkable career. Susan Dey took on the role of Laurie Partridge in the Partridge Family starting in 1970 at the age of 18, was born on December 10, 1952. Laurie, the intelligent, beautiful, and responsible eldest daughter, was a central figure in the family's musical success and was often portrayed as the voice of reason. However, Dey's personal life was marked by struggle and heartache. After her rise to fame, she married physician Leonard Hershen in 1976, but their marriage was tumultuous and ended in divorce in 1981. This emotional setback left Dey grappling with loneliness and a lack of fulfillment. She later had an engagement to producer Bernard Safransky, but this relationship also ended bitterly. Day's acting career after the Partridge Family never reached the same heights, and she was often relegated to roles that failed to capture the public's imagination. As she battled feelings of isolation, depression, and self-doubt, Day's personal and professional life seemed to spiral. By 2025, now 72 years old, she has chosen to live a quiet, private life, far removed from the public eye. Her story is one of early stardom followed by personal tragedy and a quiet, almost forgotten existence in the years that followed. Brian Forster, born on April 14, 1960, began portraying Chris Partridge in The Partridge Family in 1971 at the age of 11. Chris, the dependable drummer of the family band, was the quiet and often overlooked sibling, which mirrored Forster's own experience as a child star. Although his role in The Partridge Family defined his early career, Forster struggled to transition into adult roles, and his acting career quickly faded after the show ended. His inability to replicate his early success caused him significant frustration, and he began to experience deep emotional turmoil. Forster's personal life was marked by multiple failed marriages, with his first marriage ending in divorce, followed by a second that also crumbled. These troubled relationships, coupled with a lack of career fulfillment, left him battling depression and anxiety. As he struggled with feelings of inadequacy and failure, Forster withdrew from the entertainment industry, choosing a quieter life. By 2025, now 64, he remains largely out of the public eye, dealing with the lingering impact of his childhood fame and the emotional scars from his failed relationships and career disappointments. His life, once filled with promise, became a somber tale of unfulfilled potential and silent struggles. Danny Bonaduce, born on August 13, 1959, began playing Danny Partridge in The Partridge Family in 1970, at just 11 years old. Danny, the witty and mischievous middle child, was often at the center of the family's more chaotic moments, which mirrored Bonaduce's own real-life struggles. Raised by a father who was emotionally abusive, Bonaduce's early life was filled with conflict, leading to a deep-rooted need for validation. As a child star, Bonaduce was thrust into the spotlight, but as he grew older, his battles with substance abuse became increasingly public. His personal life was marked by two failed marriages, the first to actress Gretchen Hilmer in 1990, which ended in an acrimonious divorce, and the second, also troubled, ending in 2007. Bonaduce's career went into freefall after The Partridge Family ended, and his personal struggles with drugs and alcohol often overshadowed his attempts to revive his career. His later years were marked by public meltdowns, run-ins with the law, and multiple rehab stints. Despite his efforts to reclaim his place in the public eye through reality TV appearances, Bonaduce's battles with addiction continued to define his life. By 2025, now 65 years old, Bonaduce still struggles with his past, and though he has made attempts at redemption, his legacy remains one of scandal and personal turmoil. Jeremy Gelbwax, born on May 22, 1961, took on the role of Christopher "Chris" Partridge in 1970 at the age of 9. As the original drummer for the Partridge Family, Jeremy's character was full of energy, capturing the innocence and enthusiasm of a young boy thrust into the limelight. However, after just one season, he was replaced, leaving him with a deep sense of rejection and abandonment. The swift end to his time on the show marked the beginning of a challenging career. Despite his early success, Jeremy struggled to find steady work in Hollywood, and his career remained largely stagnant. His personal life mirrored his professional struggles, as he faced a troubled marriage that ended in divorce. Jeremy battled substance abuse and mental health issues for years, which only made it harder to find happiness. Over time, he became disillusioned with Hollywood, opting for a quiet, more private life. By 2025, at the age of 63, Jeremy continues to live away from the public eye, having found peace in a career outside of acting. His life serves as a stark reminder of the harsh realities faced by many child stars, marked by unfulfilled potential, broken dreams, and the emotional toll of early fame. Elaine Giftos, born on January 24, 1945, played Bonnie Kleinschmidt in 1972 at the age of 27. As a recurring character on The Partridge Family, Elaine brought warmth and charm to the screen, but her career after the show failed to reach the same heights. Though she had potential, she found herself trapped in typecasting, with few opportunities for more diverse roles. This limited her prospects in Hollywood, and Elaine soon found herself out of work. Her personal life was equally tumultuous, marked by a short and painful marriage that ended in divorce. The breakdown of her marriage left Elaine emotionally scarred, and she struggled with deep feelings of loneliness and depression. As if this wasn't enough, Elaine faced additional hardships when a close family member passed away, further deepening her emotional wounds. The combination of professional setbacks and personal losses led to a retreat from the public eye in the late 1980s, as Elaine sought solace away from the pressures of fame. By 2025, at 80, she continues to live a quiet, reclusive life, away from Hollywood and the limelight. The passing years have done little to heal the wounds from her past, and her story serves as a poignant reminder of the unseen struggles many former stars face after the spotlight fades. Rick Siegel, born on January 19, 1969, began his role as Ricky Stevens in 1973 at the age of 4. His portrayal of the sweet, talented boy singer was a standout feature in the later seasons of The Partridge Family, winning the hearts of audiences. However, the pressures of fame at such a young age quickly took a toll on Rick's personal and professional life. While his performance on the show was well received, his career struggled to take off after the series ended. Rick found himself in a constant battle with anxiety and the emotional scars from his parents' divorce when he was just a child. As he grew older, he found it difficult to adjust to life outside the spotlight and had difficulty forming stable relationships. His marriage ended in divorce, and he faced estrangement from his only daughter, a heartbreaking loss that deepened his isolation. Rick's journey became one of personal struggle, as he grappled with mental health issues, substance abuse, and a feeling of being lost in the wake of his childhood fame. By 2025, at 55, he remains involved in the entertainment industry behind the scenes but leads a quieter life, still haunted by the challenges of his early fame and the emotional toll it has taken on him. Who is your favorite character from The Partridge Family? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.